And welcome back. I think it's your turn. You say welcome back.
Okay, welcome back, everybody.
Whoop, jump. I didn't know you can jump in this game. Oh, hey, I got a letter here. Oh, I dropped a letter.
You're gonna read it?
Yeah, you're the reader. Here you go.
Am I? How did I get the reading job?
Because I didn't want it and I threw it at you.
Okay. So, George Seaman, Marine Maintenance Technician, 14th of the 12th, 2184. Goddamn company once again. I'll miss little Johnny's smile as he opens his presents this year. I've been forced to remain in this hunk of metal under the sea. I don't even know what the hell we're doing down here. I know one thing though, whatever it is, it can't be good. I've caught glimpses of weird shit through the viewing windows. Indigenous sea creatures maybe? I don't know. I keep hearing something big knocking on the hull. I swear something is out there. I think something was in here.
Yeah.
I think the things out there weren't really the problem.
Well, I think the things out there got in here.
Maybe.
Yeah. And the things out there that got in here, I'm thinking had big long tentacles.
I think so too. I think we need. Where was the bins again?
They're all the way down the end.
Yeah. Oh, there's some big chunks. I'll just run the big chunks up.
Yeah. Well, I'd better finish my story, or else.
Yeah. So do tell. so great big trays, perfect for sledging.
Great big round serving trays, and so I run in, Mission Impossible theme going, and they no.
Ooh.
Darn it.
Let's pick that one.
I do that all the time. Yeah. So I run back out. I've got 3 trays in my hands. Like I grab them all, put them under my arm, and I'm running back out. And I hand each one to each guy. And the 3 of us look at each other, and we're just chuckling, right? So we run, like we have them in our hands, and now we're being really stupid because we realize how dumb this whole endeavor is in the first place. And so now we're like sneaking, like on our tippy toes, holding these things. And believe it or not, at this point we actually hadn't. We've had like a glass of wine at dinner. We're not actually drunk. We're completely
You're just being
sober.
stupid.
Yeah, we're just being stupid. So we're start like tiptoeing, and now we're all 3 of us are singing or humming the Mission Impossible while we do this.
Yeah.
And so coming out of across from where the trays were stored, we had to cross this little path, the path that we were actually walking down to go from the eating hall to the outdoor bar area, right? And so we start tiptoeing across this, and of course we tiptoe right underneath a giant like street light. And as we're walking across the path with this giant street light coming down on us, the director of HR.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, it gets better. So the director of HR, the lead of my department, and the oh darn it, did it again. I'm not going to clean this up. And also basically like the president of the Canadian chapter of our company are all walking together down the path, and they see us, and the director of HR, they all stop, they see us tiptoeing across, holding the trays in our hands, they see where we're going, and the director of HR, at the top of her lungs, screams, "Don't you dare!"
Oh no!
The 3 of us freeze and look at each other, and we're like, we're screwed anyway.
Yeah.
So we sprint as fast as we can up the hill, holding our trays. and she is just livid behind us. It was a pretty even keel company though, so like even though she was yelling at us, they weren't really all that mad. They were just like, "What are you doing?" And they were trying to stop us, but at the same time, it wasn't like super serious that we were going anyway. We all knew this, right?
Yeah.
But so we run up this stupid hill, and they just continue walking. Like after we're gone, they just keep walking. They go to the bar area, right? They weren't all that concerned. They actually probably thought we were gonna chicken out, but we get all the way up to the top of the hill. So we're at the top of the hill, and we line up all in a row at the very top of the hill, all beside each other. I'm in the middle, and then my two buddies are on either side of me. And we line up going down the hill. Now it's twilight, so it's really hard to see that. Not that you can't see that hard in that far in front of you. Yeah. It's getting darker as we do this, and so we can kind of use like that point where you can look down the hill. You can kind of see the bottom, but but there's like hilly areas that are kind of like it's almost like a silhouette. It's a lot of silhouettes going on, right? Yeah. And so we line up, and it was like, okay, count it off, right? 3, 2, 1, and the whole idea is we have to put our butts on the tray. We have to grab the tray with our hands on either side, and we have to get our feet up. You have to hold your feet up and go down like that. This is what we've agreed on. Okay. And so we all get ready. We all lift up our feet. We're all ready to go. And then we count it down. 3, 2, 1, and we push off. Now, my friend, his name is Fred. He's sitting beside me on my left, and he pushes off, and I push off, and Hal on my right pushes off, and Hal chickens out right away. He basically leans all the way to the right and skids off into the tree line, picks up the tray and runs off down the hill. So I look over and I see him do this, right? Yeah. And I look over to my left and Fred goes, like he's going, but he's but he loses control right away and shoots off way off to my left. Like, oh no, what's going on there? But now I'm picking up speed, so I'm now just in save my own life mode. Yeah. And so I'm sliding down the hill, and I've got my feet up. Now, the smart thing to do, because this is actually what I found out what Fred did afterwards, is he started to put his feet down, like his heels down, to slow down. Yeah. But I didn't. I kept my feet up. And I did it again. Oh, no. Oh, it was right. So I kept my feet up, and I'm going down the hill, and I'm picking up speed. Like, I'm starting to pick up speed like a bat out of hell. Yeah. And so in my infinite wisdom, I'm like, okay, well, there's these two hills, and they kind of connect at one spot, so there's a dip, right? So I'm aiming for the dip, thinking that if I go over the hills, I'm going to launch myself, right? Like up into the sky, and that's a bad idea, even though what I'm doing is obviously an excellent idea, as long as I miss the hills. So I'm aiming for this gap, and as I'm aiming for the gap, I'm picking up speed, I'm going really fast. All of a sudden I see this light, this little flash of a light right where I'm aiming. It lights up, and I'm like, oh my God. I thought it was like a security guard or something with a flashlight coming for me. And I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna run right into him, and I'm gonna murder this guy, right? So I push as hard as I can to the right. I pull up one of the sides. I'm like leaning over with my butt cheeks up on one side, and I completely swerve off to the right. And I guess where I go? I go right over the hill, and I launch myself into the sky. The tray goes one way, I go the other way, and this is where it gets really interesting. I land, but for whatever reason, I've always been a really good person, like a really good faller. I can fall with grace, I guess is maybe a way to say it. So I'm somersaulting through the air. I think I did at least a full like 360, maybe 720. I don't know. Like I went around a couple of times, but I'm coming head first for the ground. And so I roll myself in, and I land on my shoulder and roll it out, right? Yeah. So I hit my shoulder, I roll it out, and then I launch back into the sky a little bit when I roll it out. And then I roll in and roll in and roll in, and I roll like I do a few big kind of rolling somersaults, kind of launching myself back into the air every time. And on the last time, I managed to land on my feet on the way down and run down the rest of the hill on my feet. Yeah, so it's just like all the way to the bottom of the hill. And whoops.
Do you want me to take that back to the?
Well, here I got all these bullet casings. I'll just put them in here. But yeah, so I get all the way to the bottom, and I'm like, oh my god, I survived! I lived!
Yeah.
What the hell? And at this point now, first thing that goes through my mind after this is where are my friends and are they okay?
Yeah.
And the second thing that goes through my mind is, what was that light that was in my way? Right? So I tear back up the hill, and I run straight for the gap in the hills. And guess what I find in the gap of the hills?
No idea.
The photographer for the night had seen us run up the hill. And he was setting up his tripod to take pictures of the idiots coming down the hill.
Oh my god.
So at this point, I was really happy I changed directions.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna take him out.
Yeah.
The flash was him taking pictures.
Oh no.
So there's evidence of this now.
Oh boy.
And so as I run past him, I scream a profanity at him. I can't remember what it was, but like you're like I almost killed you type of scream, right? And then I just keep running. So he looks at me with the most bemused face like that I've ever seen in my life. He just looks at me with this smirk and he waves as I go by. And I run back up the hill and I go for where Fred was, the guy on my left. And I run all the way up the hill. And as I'm running up, I find Hal, and he's running up with me. He just, like he said, he bailed out and he just came down the hill on his feet, right? But then I run up and I find Fred, and he's sitting on the ground with the tray off, like it's off to the side, a good distance off to the side of him. And he's sitting like on his butt with his heels in the ground with his kind of his knees spread. He's got his hands on his knees and his head between his legs, right? He's just like right over. Yeah. I'm coming through with a crate.
Okay.
Don't hit anything. But so he's as I get closer, I realize he's puking. He's sitting there just puking his guts out. And I get up to him, I'm like, man, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, just give me a minute. And I go grab his tray, and there is a hole the size of a small boulder in one of in the tray. He had come down and he hit a rock in the ground. And like he broke right through the tray, and he went flying one direction, and it went the other direction. And he's just sitting there like he is totally done. He's just barfing it up, right? Yeah. And so the two of us bring him down, get back down to the bottom, and at this point, the entire company realizes something is going on, and they're all collected at the bottom of the hill as I bring Fred down, right? and they're like, what is going on? What did you guys do? And so we start telling them the story, and they're just killing themselves laughing. Yeah. And then in the middle of the story, one of them looks at me and says, you're bleeding. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, you're bleeding. And so because I'm in a bit of a dark area, so I went and walked under one of the lights. Yeah. And I look at myself, and my fingers. So I had ripped the skin off of the knuckles of all my fingers. Ooh. And from the knuckles down to my fingertips are pure red.
Oh my god.
Off ends. Yeah. Because I was holding the tray, right?
Yeah.
And so as I was going down the hill, the knuckles are under the tray, and I'm ripping them all on the frozen muck and dirt, right? Yeah. So that's what had happened to my fingers. Oh, and then I looked down even more, and my My jeans are like I have a massive rip in one of my pant legs. Oh, I just knocked this over. I have like my jeans are ripped in multiple places. There's like a gash in my leg and it's bleeding on my jeans, and there's like I've ripped open the back of my t-shirt and there's a bit of a gash there, and it's just like, oh my god. So I was like, and everyone's like, oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay? Whatever, yeah, just give me a minute. And I run into the washroom.
Yeah.
And I start cleaning myself up, and it looked way worse than it was once I started cleaning myself up. And and I don't I clot pretty quick and pretty easy, so I just grabbed a bunch of toilet paper and I wrapped around my knuckles, and then I just cleaned myself off, and I walked back out to the. Oh no, sorry. This is actually the best part of the whole story. So I'm getting ready to walk back out of the washroom. And the director of or not director, I guess there's the lead of the programming, and there's also like the lead of the engineering side. And so the lead of the engineering side was, and this at this point is the point where I realized that there's probably no way I'm going to get in trouble anyway, because this was awesome. As I'm about to leave, this guy he's walking around in circles in the washroom.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find the door to get out. And he's walking in circles. He's opening up all of the stalls to the bathroom, like all of the toilet stalls and everything. And he's mumbling under his breath, and he's it's like, where's the door? How do I get out of here? And he's mumbling, and he's just drunk out of his mind. Just wasted. And so I try to lead him out the front door, and he gets mad at me, walks into the stall, closes the door, and starts mumbling, right? So I'm like, whatever. So I walk out and go back outside and continue to have a good time, right? And of course, at this point, it's like, okay, I need some alcohol to numb the pain. But so I get back outside and I just start having a good time with everybody else. And the next morning, so I get up the next morning, we all go for the info session or whatever. And I find out that the guy in the washroom found him sleeping on the toilet there in the morning. He never got out. So there you go.
Dear.
That's my story.
That's that's a crazy one.
You like that one? Yeah, I think I've got most of that off of there. Alright, so bins. I can take another bin, and I'm just gonna find more of the stuff laying on the ground. There's some stuff over here. Or at least one thing. There's this. Oh, yeah. There. I hope all of our viewers like that one.
Yeah. Our last Christmas party. I do like my Christmas parties. Office Christmas parties are brilliant. You've got to get into the spirit of it. But our office Christmas parties are always pretty good. So I've mentioned before I work with accountants and lawyers, which is great because one controls the money and the other one makes sure that you don't get into too much trouble.
Yeah.
So they really know how to party. And the last year's Christmas party, the Christmas just gone, some fool had arranged for a directorate team meeting on the morning immediately after the Christmas party of the night before. And because there were so many people on holiday, it actually fell to me to kind of do a lot of the arrangements for this thing on the day. And I mean, it was early. It was really early. It was like 10 a.m. or something, which, I mean, that's before second coffee and everything on a normal day. So on a drunken day, that's really bad. So we'd gone out the night before, and the finance director, he's one of those guys who he gets a late pass out every so now and then from his wife. So when he goes on a bender, he likes to go on it big time. And he's like the last one, first one on the dance floor, last one off the dance floor. Well behaved and everything, doesn't get terribly drunk, but will drink all night and have a good laugh. He's a good giggle. And we
find a good spot though. We are at 20 minutes, so keep going and find a good spot.
Yeah, cool. So we ended up going for this presentation the next day. We were staying in the hotel. There was a few of us all staying in the hotel next door to the office, and I remember stood outside the hotel at 3:30 in the morning and seeing him stumbling back towards the hotel. And this presentation was taking place at 10 a.m. the next morning. We both turned up for the presentation, and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me and he's saying, "Can you read what it says on the screen?" And I'm looking at him going, "No, it's all blurred, but I don't know if that's just me." And he's going, "Yeah, it's all blurred for me as well, but that might just be me." And the pair of us we were absolutely still, like, just absolutely pissed as farts. I mean, couldn't. We were in a really bad state. I'd been on the rum and coke all night before hitting the Red Bull and champagne. So yeah, it was.
Hitting the Red Bull and champagne. I almost missed that.
So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd just tack that on the end of your office drinking parties, because office drinking parties are the best.
That's right.
Right, well, I suppose we best say goodbye at this point, and we'll see our viewers next time for more drunken stories, I'm sure, or something similar.
Yeah, whatever strikes
takes our fancy.
All right, see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.